Oh, hello there. Welcome to DragonCon Update. My name is Will, and I'm going to be your host tonight for all the DragonCon updates this weekend. Tonight, we're going to be covering some great announcements we have going on. We're going to be interviewing a couple folks, and then after, maybe a little bit after the show, we'll have some segments that we're going to preview. Now, we know that first, DragonCon is a huge charitable group of people. All the con-goers like to donate, and we appreciate that. This year, you are going to see this wonderful DragonCon charity bin. This is where you can donate directly to the charity, and our charity this year is actually the American Heart Association. DragonCon will be matching all donations up to the first $100,000 donated. So it's going to be really cool. One of the places you can see this can is inside the con suite, and if you haven't been to the con suite before, I highly recommend you check it out. Now, there's also a blood drive. Every year we do a blood drive here at DragonCon, and of course, that's going to be located in the the Hyatt conference room level. Now, the blood drive is going to be done by Life South, and they are a fantastic organization. I hope you go check it out and donate some blood. We are actually really short on blood this year, and DragonCon and all of you can really make a huge difference for us on that. Now, I want to start out by looking at some of the art we have here. You're going to see that we have some auctions going on, and we have some beautiful pieces of art. Now, each piece is unique, and of course, this art is going to be juried from the art show located at the Hyatt Grand. Now, while each of these pieces is unique, you're going to be able to find more that you like there, so I hope you go check it out and take a look at all the awesome art that we have to offer. Check in with the art show, Hyatt Grand, throughout the weekend. They're going to have tons of stuff to auction, and this year's special edition pieces are heart-shaped boxes, which start out like this. And of course, they're just a simple box because our charity this year is the American Heart Association. So I hope you check it out. It's going to be really, truly something amazing and something awesome. In fact, we're hoping to encourage children to be a little bit more artistic here this year at DragonCon. And of course, we're going to be talking about philanthropy here. And we want to start young on that. We take care of each other. DragonCon ordered some of these plain boxes and had various artists use them to create something really unique. Do you have a child who would like to create an artistic piece from one of the boxes? Take them to this show. You're going to find that there is amazing, amazing stuff to check it out. Your child can also decorate a box for charity, of course. They also talk to some of our artists and ask questions about how to become an artist. DragonCon has produced a custom charity coloring book this year, which is so cool because it's actually going to be part of the 2019 charity drive. I happen to have a blank cover of the charity book. It is so cool. You're looking through here, there is so much art that you can color in. And while this is charity for children, it's also for adults. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to get this and donate because this is super cool. So I hope you check it out. There's some great art in here, and it's really just fun, exciting for the whole family. I want to also mention that it contains images of art created by artists from our art show here at DragonCon. And of course, if you haven't checked out the Comic and Pop Artist Alley, you're going to see some fantastic artists there too, some of which also contributed to this awesome art book. Let's go ahead and talk real quick about DragonCon's Literature and Media Awards. We want to make sure that everyone gets an opportunity to participate. Register to vote for the DragonCon Awards if you haven't already, because guess what? The window for registering closes tonight at midnight. Not tomorrow at 12:01 a.m., tonight at midnight. So go ahead and take a moment as soon as we're done with our show to go ahead and check out what is going on there and put your vote in. It's going to be really cool. There is a set of DragonCon fan-driven literary and media awards, and of course, if you don't register, you can't vote. So you want to make sure you register so that you can get the vote out. Here are some events that we wanted to call to your attention. You've got on the comics programming track, you have some fantastic stuff. 80 Years of Marvel Comics is Saturday, tomorrow at 2:30 in the Hyatt International. That's 2:30 p.m. not 2:30 a.m. for some of those night owls like me. 2:30 p.m. Hyatt International North. There's also the Deadpool co-creator, and that is with Fabian Saturday at 5:30 p.m. in the International North of the Hyatt. 80 Years of Batman's happening Saturday at 7 p.m. And of course, that's tomorrow still. And we are at the Hyatt International South. And on the kids track, there's some really awesome stuff happening. We've got the middle grade crafts hour, 10 a.m. And that's going to be happening at the Hyatt Techwood. Out and About Silent Sequence Comic. 1 p.m. tomorrow, Hyatt Techwood. And of course, the kids' costume and photo shoot. The kids' costume and photo shoot will be happening at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow at the Hyatt Techwood, or excuse me, at the Hyatt Techwood. And then we have the Underfoot graphic novel. This graphic novel piece is going to be done at 4 p.m. Hyatt Spring. Now, Aaron Alston Memorial Kids Writing Workshop is tomorrow at 4 p.m. at the Hyatt Techwood. We also have the Asher Angel acoustic performance, and that will be happening at 7 p.m. Hyatt Regency, room 6 and 7. So you can tell we've got a lot going on. Check out the information on your app. Check out the times, the rooms, all the cool stuff that's happening. Now, the Temporal Formal Dance is something we've got to talk about, and I have some very special guests who are going to be here to talk about the Temporal Formal Dance. They are part of the alternate and historical fiction track, and let's go ahead and say hello. Hello, welcome, come on in. We're going to have a great time here because we're going to talk about something that you guys do, and it's happening when?
Well, the dance class before the formal is at 8:30 in International North.
Tonight?
Tonight.
Ah, that's
Tonight,
great.
8:30. The temporal formal itself is at 10 o'clock International North. And this year's theme is a silver screen soiree. So celebrating Hollywood from the 20s through the 40s.
Wow. And have you put this event on before? Is this your event that you've done for year after year?
I've hosted it this will be the third year.
Oh, wow.
So we're slowly starting to build it. It grew out of people wanting an actual, somewhere they can dress formally, but they were looking for an actual ballroom dance.
That's cool. That's really, really cool.
The really big news for this year is that we've got the Atlanta Swing Orchestra playing with us. So that's a live big band playing all manner of swing tunes, and they've actually gone and picked music from films from the 30s and 40s. And once I saw their playlist, I got really, really excited.
That's
so I'm
awesome.
looking forward to it.
And Jason, I apologize. I don't think I really introduced both of you all here. So who do we have? Who are you all?
So I'm Macklin Butler. I am the event coordinator for the alternate and historical fiction track, and all of our parties and our big fun things that we do is I'm your go-to girl.
Sounds awesome. And Jason, what do you do?
I'm Jason R. Merrill. I'm an attending professional, mainly just for this formal event, and then I do some panels for a couple of different tracks throughout the weekend.
Oh, wow.
Tomorrow at 2:30 in the Augusta Room at the Sheraton for the alternate history and historical fiction track. I'm doing an accessories panel. As a sideline, I sell vintage gentlemen's accessories. So I brought a wide selection of some really, really cool items to just basically do a show and tell.
That sounds cool. That sounds fun. So if someone who's never been part of the alternate and historical fiction track, it's a nice little tongue twister for me there. If they haven't been part of the track before, haven't seen what's to offer, what would you tell them? What would be the hook to get them to come check out what you all have?
So we were formerly known as the alternate history, but we're such big fans of all different kinds of history, whether it be the history that we've made up. We had a party that was themed Never Was, to the history that we already have. And there's so much of it that we can play off of and talk about and have great discussions. We're all really big fans of things like Hamilton, and right now here in the Hilton, we have the Greatest Showman sing-along going on, which is huge. And on Sunday we're going to be having on tomorrow at 8:30, we're going to be having the Hamilton sing-along as well.
What is the Hamilton sing-along?
So if you're fans of Hamilton the musical, which a good bit of us are with Lin-Manuel Miranda, you will be very familiar with the songs and the music from that. And we are actually registered with Hamiltons. It's a special thing that only happens in certain areas in the country where we have this specific license to play these songs and have this huge sing-along. And last year we filled up the room, and there were so many people waiting outside in the hallway that DragonCon was so kind to double the space that we have this year. So hoping that we don't have to turn anyone away tomorrow.
Well, what you said, it's at 8:30 in the morning?
8:30 p.m.
8:30 p.m. Okay,
Yes.
good, because I was worried I was going to have to get up at 6, drink like 10 cups of coffee to just even get there. So 8:30 p.m. Well, that sounds super awesome, super fun, and I really appreciate you all coming to tell us all about what you guys have to offer. Well, yeah, absolutely, and you guys got to hurry. You've got a fun event to go to. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you for having us.
We have had some amazing content this year at DragonCon, and I want to highlight a couple things that we've got going on. If you haven't been part of the if you have not been a part of the Con Suite before and haven't checked out the Con Suite, I actually checked it out a little earlier today, and I went and I was like, whoa, what's going on? In 10 years at DragonCon, I've never gone to it. And it's so easy, it's so much fun, and there's so much to do there. So I highly recommend that you go check that out. We actually have a segment, you'll probably see it tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, that will actually talk about the Con Suite, but guess what? It opened today around noon, and it's gonna be open all the way until they run out of food on Monday. 24 hours a day. They have soda, they're going to have some snacks. It's all free. If you've got a badge, you can go check out what's going on in the Con Suite. So I hope you do take that opportunity to go see that. I also want to talk a real quick bit about our DragonCon freebie here. This is actually our Swag and Seek. You're also going to have a really cool interview with this, a really cool production that you're going to see about 3 or 5 minutes long, and it's going to talk about the Swag and Seek. Check this out. It is super, super cool. But before we even get to all the fun content we're going to talk about later, we want to welcome back a friend of the show. We've got someone who's coming up who you probably recognize, and if you don't, you need to. So we've got our friend of the show here today, and I want to say hi, Todd. It's good to see you again.
Always a pleasure to be back.
Welcome. So welcome to DragonCon Update again. Todd, what do you do? What is your role at DragonCon?
I work for DragonCon Disability Services. Our job is to help people with disabilities participating in DragonCon get the full DragonCon experience by providing reasonable accommodations as required by federal and state law.
Okay, so what do you mean by reasonable accommodations?
Reasonable accommodations are things that are meant to level the playing field to equalize participation. So a lot of people think that by coming to Disability Services, you're getting something special. The only thing we're going to do is provide the things that level the playing field for you.
Okay.
For example, to say it in a really blunt way, it's my job to make sure a person with a disability has the same opportunity for a crappy DragonCon experience as anybody else.
That sounds fantastic.
Right.
I think we all deserve that same kind of DragonCon experience.
Absolutely.
No matter what. So when we were talking about disabilities, you're just meaning, physical disabilities, right? You're not talking about...
No.
Okay.
If you have a disability if you meet the federal definition of disability, if you have a problem with mobility, if you have a problem with seeing or hearing,
okay.
We have a lot of people with autism participating this year. You could have a hidden disability with cardiac or asthma or epilepsy.
Absolutely.
Anything that would affect your participation. You can come to Disability Services and ask to be accommodated.
Okay. That sounds wonderful. And so it doesn't matter, ambulatory, non-ambulatory, whatever disability you may have, we're going to take care of you is what we're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
We're going to make sure that we create the best DragonCon experience, or the worst, depending on how you want to look at it.
Exactly.
But you want to be able to participate in every piece of that DragonCon experience.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Todd, we've had you on before, and we've had you talk about disability services before. How many years have you been doing this?
This is my 10th year.
10th year. And what have you seen change over the last 10 years in how we are accommodating disabilities here at DragonCon specifically?
You know, every year there's always a change that makes DragonCon a little bit more accessible to people with disabilities. For example, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I'm on DragonCon Update. I'm going to be talking about DragonConTV actually finding a way to provide interpreting for some of the live events that are being covered on the channel.
That is great. That is really awesome.
People who are deaf now being able to have the same value of watching that on DragonConTV. That's a really important first step.
And that's a game changer, not even for people with disabilities. This gives everyone the opportunity to participate.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's cool.
We have more people with disabilities participating than ever before. And in 10 years, I've seen more people with more severe disabilities actually take the opportunity to experience fandom.
Wow.
And they choose DragonCon to do that. This is a really special job I have. I work with a great team who try to do our level best to level the playing field.
You got to make it fun for everyone.
Absolutely.
Everyone's got to have a good opportunity.
Absolutely.
So what would you tell someone who doesn't have a disability how they can help best accommodate someone who might?
Well,
here at DragonCon, if you had one thing that you would have to a nugget of information.
I just want people to pay attention.
Okay.
We're such a big crowd of people, and we're moving almost in herds. You know what I mean? We just want people to pay a little bit more attention. Elevators, especially.
Okay.
A lot of folks with mobility impairments primarily can wait up to an hour for an elevator on Saturday afternoon. Excuse me.
Wow.
So if they're trying to get to a panel and they can't get down because the elevators are full, or they're trying to get back to their room and they can't get up because the elevators are full, we really want people to think about that and to remind them that elevators are, at DragonCon, prioritized for people with disabilities. So if you are asked to step off to allow a person with a disability to enter, we please ask that you do that. The other thing they could do is, and again, just this whole thing about being aware, you know that thing about no flash photography when you go into events?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. That isn't just necessarily a thing for contractors or agreements with the guests. Believe it or not, we've got people with epilepsy that can be affected by multiple flashes going off while they're standing at a guest, especially in darkened rooms like we have in our big ballroom.
Sure, and you wouldn't know that from, you know, they might not be in a wheelchair. They could just be walking right next to you.
Absolutely.
And flash. Oh goodness, that's great information. And we appreciate that. That's, you know, I think that every year we're making those steps forward, baby steps sometimes, and hopefully some bigger leaps on other times. And thank you for being a part of it to help everyone at DragonCon. This is really a great opportunity.
It's my pleasure. I enjoy the show every year. Come from Buffalo to do it.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow walking around the convention, and of course next year and the year after that.
Absolutely.
And hopefully the year after that and that and that. And
absolutely.
So, Todd, thank you again. It was
my
a pleasure to have you. Y'all, this has really been a great experience here with Disability Services. It's important to take the opportunity to understand someone else. And disability or not, we just want to take care of each other. So don't forget, if you see that charity bucket and you can spare a couple dollars, please help out. We appreciate you. We thank you. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, and we hope you have a fantastic night here at DragonCon, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great evening.